can't win anything with kids. I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Wenger's found his place at last.
Please don't call me arrogant. I think I'm a special one.
Respectful tribute for the man they all call the boss. Leicester City.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the 12th Man. I'm your host Prakash and this is my co-host Preddy.
You got it right.
Welcome to right this time. So welcome to game week number 8.
Yeah.
Daily challenge. So this was a very, very interesting game week. At least it was set up to be a very interesting game week. Both on the field and off the field. We had huge heavy hitters come in with Manchester City,
Liverpool.
Yeah,
And
playing Liverpool. And we also had off-the-pitch drama going on with news outlets saying Mourinho is going to get sacked right after the Newcastle game, regardless of the result. So there was a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of excitement to see. So let's get to it.
Yeah, so we start off with an unusual game, which is Friday night football with Brighton and Hove Albion versus West Ham United.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, well, not the most exciting of matches.
Yeah.
But
for a Friday night game, right?
Yeah.
I was like, why?
But again, it showed that Brighton were stronger at home. Oops.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because West Ham even had a resurgence going on, coming back in and beating the big teams.
Yeah, drawing against Chelsea, beating United, beating Everton, and now losing to Brighton and Hove Albion. And that too, a goal by none other than Glenn Murray.
Glenn Murray.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a grandpa soon, but he's still scoring.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He reminds me of later days Raul or like a Mario Gomez or Closer, who's really old, but they're still very clinical in the box.
Like he's efficient, like he does whatever he does, and he does it with his heart. He puts it into it,
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of Glenn Murray.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he's not going to get any transfer anytime soon to any big club.
I don't think so.
So
we won't have that. Liverpool had that situation, right?
Which one?
Remember, Liverpool bought a guy. I forgot his name already.
Ricky Lambert?
Yeah. That was an odd buy, but I was I guess he got to live his childhood dream of being part of Liverpool.
True. Okay, so we move on to Saturday football, which is the weekend where, like you said, United's game was probably the biggest, but we'll come to that later. We'll start off with Burnley versus Huddersfield.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they drew 1-1. Again, it reaffirms what we've been saying, which is that Huddersfield is likely to go down.
Yeah, and also that Burnley is not the same Burnley of last season too.
Yeah.
They are rock solid, Burnley, at home at least. They used to be. But we can see that they're dropping points on regular basis right now. And I don't think they'll go down, but I think that it's not going to be a season like the last one.
True.
Back to the average.
Yeah, and we're talking about teams that are getting relegated, or the new teams, and we come to Crystal Palace versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Wolves beating Crystal Palace 1-0 at Selhurst Park, which is, again, they're just collecting points and beating off teams that no one would expect them to beat.
Right. This is Crystal Palace. It's not that's a candidate to be in the top half of the table. These guys just show up in the championship and they're just away at Crystal Palace winning again. This is exciting to see. I want to see where Wolves actually end up at the end of the season.
And it's crazy. I think it's their left back or someone who scored, right back who scored. It was Matt Doherty.
Mm-hmm.
The guy has been scoring left, right, and center for I mean, mostly on the right, but for Wolves throughout this campaign, and
Damn it, should have added him to my fantasy.
yeah, I know I should as well, but it's crazy. I think what's the coach's name? Sanchez, Espirito Sanchez, Nuno.
I
Right?
love this guy. He's got that fucking rad ass beard. He reminds me of like some like Mallu uncle. You know, like, I feel like like I know him. I just know this guy. You know.
Yeah.
Kind of
Certainly.
reminds me of Shri, like a fatter Srikumar sir. I don't know. You guys don't know who.
Yeah.
But that was a teacher of ours from school.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
moving on.
yeah, oh god, that image is not gonna leave my mind now every time I see him. But yeah, he's doing wonders with that team, and he deservedly does need to because they spent a lot. So it's not
Yeah.
surprising as well. Let's move on, I guess, to Leicester versus Everton, and this is actually quite a good matchup because both teams that are not, I wouldn't say mid-table, but probably closer to the 7th, 8th position, kind of, because
Yeah. The top.
just below the top 6, because both do decently, both have good forward attacking players, defensively not the best, and I mean it had to take a wonder strike by Gylfi Sigurdsson to win it for Everton. It's crazy. I mean, that guy has been on form. I think he scored last time against Fulham he scored a brace, I think. So
yeah, last season we didn't see much of him, and it's good to see that he's brought that you know, that strike, that ability to show and like get bangers in.
Yeah, and
we missed that last season, but it's great to see it again this year.
Yeah, we saw a lot of it at Swansea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He was
I
like
even remember the one against United. Like like the moment he stepped up to take a free kick, I'm like, that's it. He's gonna equalize.
Yeah.
And
but right. So I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, they kind of deserve the win, Everton. It's but I think Leicester still have it in them to pull up, and both of them will fight for that 7th, 8th spot. I'm pretty sure about that. I don't see Leicester losing a lot of points based on this loss, even though their defense isn't the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for Leicester,
Puel is doing a good job, I think, you know.
No, but Leicester, I think they do need to replace the likes of Wes Morgan and those guys, because he's kind of slowing down. Age is catching up.
Okay, Wes Morgan was too old even during the season they won the Premier League. Like he's experienced, but he's too slow. He's too old for I guess.
Yeah, I remember there was an interview with Robert Huth, who was one of the defenders in their title-winning season, and they asked him, with your back four, which isn't the quickest, how did you win the title? And he said it's because of Conte.
Yeah.
N'Golo.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it shows how much of a difference that one Frenchman made to the team.
Yeah, goes back to leaves the title-winning side, moves to another title-winning side after. So
yeah. And speaking of one of the title contenders during that reign, which is Tottenham versus Cardiff,
they put the pressure on.
Yeah. Well, at that point, they came third though in that season.
They came third in a 2-horse race. That's the fucking. It's like, is it going to be Spurs? Is it going to be Leicester? No.
It was Leicester, Arsenal, and then Spurs. So
wow.
Yeah, but against Cardiff, I expected Tottenham to run riot.
Yeah.
Not only win, but run riot, because Cardiff had let in 4 goals against Chelsea, I think, 5 against City. Yeah. And I thought I made the stupidest mistake of not putting Harry Kane as my captain on fantasy team, because.
Yeah, I had him as captain. I was like, okay.
But yeah, it turned out to be a really scruffy goal from Eric Dyer, which I think the keeper pushed. It bounced off a couple of players and he just bundled it in. And that was the only difference between the two teams. I don't know. I mean, whether Cardiff put in a really good performance or Tottenham were really, really shitty. Because we've seen Cardiff put on a great performance before and still gone battered. So, or letting 3 goals, 4 goals, like I remember against Arsenal. So I would probably have to say that Spurs still aren't at their very best. And,
hopefully they'll find their footing soon, I think.
Hopefully. I don't know what was wrong because they started off very well this season. I mean, like more Harry Kane scoring in August. And
Right.
he's had a tougher time, I think, scoring in September than he has had in scoring in August. So
Yeah.
and again, this whole international break that's coming up is not going to help Spurs because most of their players are going to play for their national team.
For England, yeah.
So-
Yeah. Speaking of which, I think Luke Shaw backed out. Oh, wait, we'll get to that. We'll get to
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So next we have Watford and Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting game. Not how I expected it to go at all.
Yeah, we were talking about how Watford would be this year's Burnley, like Burnley story, which has come up to 7th or 8th or like that.
Yeah.
And it
Right.
seemed that way the first 4 matches, going unbeaten, their manager winning the Manager of the Month award, everything like that.
Yeah.
But I think ever since the United game, they haven't won after that, right?
Yeah, that was the time when they were like that was the first points
Their
drop.
first, yeah.
But
yeah.
like on the other hand, Bournemouth has been scoring many goals. Even last week they scored a shit ton of goals last week. But it's like going into this game, I didn't expect Bournemouth to actually. I mean, 1 win and 2 score 4 goals at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean Bournemouth, I think have scored more when playing at home. Away, they I think have lost a couple of matches. So, and Watford at home have beaten the likes of Tottenham, and came close against United. It's not. Let's not say that United totally dominated, but they had a tight match. It wasn't completely
Yeah.
one-sided.
Exactly, it was
But,
open. Like there were still
yeah.
chances that they had.
Exactly, but this time I guess it was quite one-sided.
Yeah, it
I
looks
think
like it at least.
Yeah, Eddie Howe will be happy. Maybe Bournemouth is the new Burnley.
Oh yeah, but I feel like I always had my bets on Bournemouth. Even during the Burnley season or the season before this, 2 seasons ago too, they always overperformed. They always were like, "We're gonna score more goals than we let in,"
Yeah,
you know. And that's what I loved about these guys. And it's great to see an England coach, Eddie Howe, doing so well with such a small team
yeah,
and playing such attacking football in the Premier League after coming up from down.
true.
So I hope these guys stay. I love their attitude. I love the tenacity.
Yep.
But then we move on to the final hitter of Saturday night. The Battle of the Uniteds. The
Yeah.
battle of 2 clubs under immense pressure from both, let's say, the fans, their management, and their owners.
Yeah, I mean
So-
both clubs have been getting a lot of stick, especially at the board level. Mike
Yeah,
Ashley.
it's Mike Ashley versus
versus
Woodward. Like,
Woodward and-
who's a shittier
Yeah,
footballing director?
exactly. So it was it seemed that Mike Ashley had the first laugh. Let's call it that.
I guess, I mean, like, it was weird because what happened was I actually had gotten up for the game to see it and I was all ready. But I was like, something happened and I had to miss the first 12 minutes. I switched the TV on, 12 minutes in, and I see United. No, okay, before you even get to this is the week of hearing news after news after news that Mourinho is getting sacked. He's getting sacked no matter what result we face
Yep.
against Newcastle. And you have 12 minutes in, switch the TV on, and you see United are 2 goals down. 2 goals down. Holy fuck. I was just like, yeah, that's it. Goodbye, Mourinho. And then all these thoughts come racing into my head. So now we have this issue where let's say he even does get sacked. Okay. You have Zidane, you have Pochettino, you have Laurent Blanc as possible replacements who can actually come in right now. Out of which a few seem unlikely. Pochettino seems more unlikely than the others. Even Conte was said to be because he's free, he's not doing anything right now. Even Conte is said to be in the cards.
Yeah.
But it's just, I honestly, what I will say, it kind of made me sad because what I will say is that sure, maybe the football has been dour at some times. Maybe we've had we haven't had the free flowing attacking football that you'd like to see.
Yeah.
But I don't imagine us having any other manager who's available right now who could inspire the players to fight like they can fight.
Right.
And we can go through that example again in the second half. Now, it kind of became a double-edged sword because what happened in the second half was one of the most exciting comebacks. One of the most exciting halves I've seen United play in a long time. Well, at least for this season.
I mean, I think the last time they had such an exciting comeback was the Manchester derby last season.
Yeah. So the thing is, I mean, even the Manchester City versus Manchester United game, it was clinical, right? Like there was frenzy attack, there was a play, there was 2 goals, scored 3-2, and it was again going back to a comeback side. They sat down, they sat back, they sat compact the moment they went back up.
Yeah.
Like it was done in a short period, but in this it felt like it kind of like it was coming, man. Like this was not a 3-goal game. Like United could have had 6 goals. The number of chances that were missed. Matic had a sitter in front of the goal, left foot. All he has to do is get it on target. It's a fucking goal. Misses. Rashford, beautiful crosser from Lukaku. Like Lukaku needs to be crossing to himself. He's the best crosser we have. He's the best right-wing player for our team, but he's a striker, sadly. Rashford misses 2 headers in front of the goal. Like there's so many chances.
Yeah.
But having seen that second goal that Martial and Pogba, like the way they combined and they scored, seeing that the way they synchronize and that free flow, it was just like it kind of like I feel like it ends up putting more pressure on
Mourinho, yeah.
Because they're like, you can clearly play that kind of football. You can clearly do it, but you don't.
The thing is, I guess the problem is that when United start playing that kind of football and they play it right from minute 1, it's like they tire out later on, and that's when teams hit back.
No, I would argue the other way. So the thing is, United doesn't that intensity doesn't drop. I've seen that continue throughout. What actually happens is when they play like that, when they throw everything at it, this can only happen when the team's already up. So they are looking to defend their lead. So what happens if, for example, like the best example is, to my point is, when United tries to attack and goes all out, their defense, our defense is pretty bad. Like, come on, we know it.
Yeah.
That defense starts shitting bricks. Because what happens is now you don't have a protective cover. You don't have a Matic sitting in front of you. You don't have people helping out. The fullbacks are all far up and, young and all, how they play. They get turned easy. And when that happens, the defense is so prone to mistakes that they, that's what happens. We end up going down. Like the Spurs game was one of the best games that we saw of United, but they were 3-0 down by the end of the game.
Yeah.
And another example was last week when we were 2 goals down again and United started attacking.
Yep.
They threw players forward. They threw their defenders forward. The attackers forward. Scored a goal. And we thought the comeback was on, but this was a team was like, okay, we're not going to sit back to protect our lead. We're going to try to attack. Yeah. And they did. And that all it took was one pass to carve through the middle of the centre backs.
That's
2
true.
centre backs cannot allow a ball go, cannot bisect, cannot let anybody bisect you like that. And that was embarrassing to say the least. So, that's an example of how United is so weak at the back that going all out attack we don't have the ability to do it because we don't have those defenders.
Right, yeah. I mean, for Rafa Benitez, this must just be so pissing off. And he's been known to be, defensively quite sound as a manager. Like, he would expect his team to, after going 2-0 up, and they could have been 3-0 up. I think, who's the guy who missed the
It was a header, yeah, exactly.
Which is
quite... And even, he's just good against Mourinho's United. Even last year, I think he beat us, or he did something.
Yeah, Matt Ritchie, I remember scoring.
He just, sets up very well against Mourinho.
Yeah, but, I mean, for some reason, defensively, they're just all over the place this season. I expected some sort of comeback from United, but to have it 3-2, I think after the first 2 goals, I then expected the third goal to come. But until the second goal came, I thought Newcastle had it in them to at least block out United. They did so against City. So if you could do that at least against City, they were defensively a little better.
Yeah.
But I don't
know. I just felt like it was coming. Even when we were 2-0 down with the number of chances that we had, I was like, this should end up. We have so much time left in the game. But what was the thing was with City, you saw the whole game plan was completely nullified. Sit back, 11 men behind the ball, just completely fucked them up. But they knew that with United they could smell the weakness. So they started from the first minute. So I guess they walked into that mindset of we're not going to sit back in. And
I think this is what the first win for United at home this season, or did they win?
Is it? No.
Did they? I think they beat Leicester the first game.
Yeah. They won the first few games. We have the home win going on.
Okay.
But I mean, it's sad for Newcastle because this would have been something that might have kicked off their season.
Yeah, because I mean Benitez hadn't won a point. I hadn't won a game till then. And again, Mike Ashley was in the stand. He was grinning, and pretty sure the grin has gone off his face now that they lost. But
Yeah.
for Mourinho, this was again a second chance. Now, I mean, now the news outlets
Speaking
say
of
that
which-
he isn't getting sacked. He's getting backing from above, and that's
Speaking of which, though, like it's funny to see that because you have Mike Ashley grinning on one side, and there was a shot of Woodward at the end of the
Yeah.
game after United won, and he's just sitting there, pissed off. He looks so angry. Like now he can't fire Mourinho because he'd
No.
look so bad if he did.
Yeah, I mean, the fans are, I'm guessing, still more pro Mourinho than they are pro Woodward.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there were like signs all over the stands, people saying, Mourinho's a winner,
Yeah,
Woodward is a loser.
and also
Like-
news coming out that Zidane is not really interested in the Premier League.
Yeah,
could-
he wants to
Could
go
probably
to
go Bayern for all you know.
Bayern?
Yeah, given how they
I
started
heard he
this
wants to go
season.
to Italy.
Yeah, that's true. He's got a better connection to Juventus, but he might just fancy his chances at Bayern, given that he's got the big star players, and
Yeah,
Kovac has been
another like league where he can
shite.
walk the league.
Yeah,
so.
and Kovac has already started rows with James and the likes of the other players. So
Wonderful.
brilliant.
Anyway,
So
guys, that's that.
yeah,
So Mourinho's job is safe for just a little bit more.
yeah,
What's kind of sad is this is a huge thing. Like it kind of like brings the team back in, and it's sad that we can't carry this momentum because of the international break. That's what's pissing me.
right. So let's move on to Super Sunday.
Super Sunday.
Yeah, the first time
We have
after a
4
while
of
that
the
we
top
call it
16
Super
teams.
Sunday. Been always somber Sundays. But yeah, so we start off with Fulham versus Arsenal, and damn Arsenal, man. Like I can't even watch Arsenal fan TV right now. They must be losing so much of money. It's like they're winning. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
but it's ridiculous. The Lacazette has just hit some purple patch right now.
Right? Mhm.
I mean, he doesn't even need Aubameyang to support him. He's just scoring.
Yeah.
Again, defensively, they were facing a lot of issues. They had a lot of chances. Fulham were attacking, but it doesn't really matter if you are so good up front that. So the question comes when they face the top teams, right? Arsenal, because they face the likes of City, they face the likes of Chelsea, and they lost both. Right after that, they haven't had.
Also, we could also argue that it was at the start of the season, so maybe he hadn't gotten.
I guess so,
Footing
but
set yet.
I would still have. I mean, against Chelsea, they were a little more attacking, and it could have gone their way. But City, we all knew they were going to lose that. No matter when they play City,
Yeah, it's not happening.
it's never going to happen.
Yeah, but Arsenal's always been good at like playing the smaller teams, right? Relatively,
True.
at least.
True,
Because like it's a style that works.
right? But again, Arsenal. I mean, last season they were losing against the likes of Swansea and Crystal Palace and teams like that. So
Yeah.
it is refreshing to
I
see
mean,
them
like,
win.
yeah, that's true.
But it again begs the question is that can they continue this, especially against the big team? They really haven't faced, apart from those two at the start, they really haven't faced a top team. So it's going to be interesting, but they've shown that they can punish teams if they don't
And
take
their
chances.
form has been pretty good so far. So
Yeah, man.
like they're back to their favorite position.
I was about to say that, yeah. They're number 4, and it's, well, I'm glad in a way. I mean, they deserve the little bit of happiness that they can get, every bit of happiness after
Sure.
the few torturous years under Wenger. But yeah, let's see. I really wanted to go back to the old Arsenal where I can watch some good late night television. Arsenal fan TV, man.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I had to rely on watching a lot of Manchester United fan TVs,
Shut the no.
like full-time Devils and all of that, because like
But the thing is, those guys are never like as negative as Arsenal fan do, at least.
Yeah.
They're always the hopeful bunch. at
like
the end of
like United fans raise valid points, which is not fun to watch.
it.
Like you want really biased and really
Yeah,
rant,
like yo,
really-
fuck you, let's buy Ronaldo.
Yeah.
No. No. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the thing though, and it's also like we know what's wrong with our team, and
Right.
we know where the issues are.
Yeah. For Arsenal, it was
But
just
yeah.
everywhere. And now they're slowly they got Wenger out, they got Gazidis out now.
Yeah, and they've got a good team. They had striker issues. Now they have 2 strikers.
Yeah, it's only defensive
So-
and Kroenke.
Yeah,
Kroenke
I don't
is
think
not going
Kroenke's
anywhere, yeah.
Kroenke wants to buy more shares. I don't think he's going anywhere. But I think they'll sort out their situation too. They've got a
Yeah.
good coach, and I think they have a good season to come.
Okay, so we now move to their London rivals, which is Chelsea, who were playing Southampton at, what is that park called? I don't know what their stadium was called. St. Mary's?
Southampton is called St. Mary's. Yeah,
St. Mary's Stadium, yeah.
St. Mary's. Yeah.
And again,
Another candidate for relegation that we have.
Yeah. Again, they should have been 1-0 up Southampton. Danny Ings missed an open goal. I don't know how he missed that. He skied it. He crossed it. All he had to do is tap it. I think it came off higher on his leg and it went up. But again, Hazard. That dude needs to move to Real Madrid before he starts causing problems. This is a very... I don't know. I haven't seen such a dangerous player, I guess, since Ronaldo.
But that's the thing with Hazard, right? He has, it's like, he's a Katy Perry song. Every fucking season, it's like, either you don't know which Hazard's going to turn up. The whole season, you don't know which Hazard's going to turn up.
And that
he
all
will destroy the league, and the next season, he'll just sit back and chill. Do fuck all. And in that pattern, this is that season where he destroys. So we have it.
Yeah. And that kind of shows on how well Chelsea does. Because if he does well, then they kind of are title contenders. They could even win the title. Yeah. If he has those kind of laid back seasons, then they're either ended up 10th or 5th or 6th. Or they don't make the top 4 also.
Exactly. So yeah.
It's interesting. I think a part of me is telling myself that he's doing this for Madrid.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that too.
He's not made it he's not been too subtle about it, saying that, oh, I might stay here. He clearly wants to go to Madrid. That's been his dream move. He's made that absolutely clear. And I mean, I think that's better than making it like saying that, no, I'll stay here and then moving off the next year. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
At least he's honest about it.
Exactly.
But I think that if it doesn't happen next season, I think that's it. The time is gone.
Yeah.
And it really it doesn't. It's not going to happen.
I think Madrid should move for him. I don't think in Jan it might happen, but they should move for him given how their season is going. It's terrible. They really need a creative player. Definitely,
yeah. I feel like he should have been in Madrid this season already. They probably just didn't buy him because of the last season, his performance last season. But and they're also waiting on other big players that they might be wanting to get.
I guess God knows what Madrid is thinking this season. But anyway, that's for another.
That's exactly. That's for another league, another future.
So
we finally get to the biggest game of the weekend.
Yep, which was
the battle of the top 2. We have Liverpool versus Manchester City.
Yeah, Anfield was rocking.
Oh yeah, no matter what you say, that stadium is just loud.
Yeah, but it depends. Again, it's Manchester City, and because we had the best of them last season, more often than not, we tend to be a little louder during those games. But if it was one of the smaller games, I doubt it could have had that much of an atmosphere. But again,
it was a very interesting game though. This one, it was we always know between City and Liverpool, it's like shit on fire. The games are always exciting to watch. It's attack, it's end-to-end football. But here it was interesting because it was still an attacking game, but it was always one team dispossessing the other, and that team dispossessing the other. Yeah. It was wayward passes or misplaced passes, or it was just lost balls. But it was end-to-end. But except the complete ends. Take the 20% of the field on both ends out of it, and that was the game. Yeah. It just kept happening like this.
Neither team had it in the final third to unlock the defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Both were defensively. I think both managers were skeptical
and
because
this is not something that you would have said last year. That's the most insane and annoying part for me as a United fan, because you would not have said that about Liverpool last year.
Yeah.
Now you have Virgil van Dijk come in, and it was just at least 80 minutes of just amazing defensive play.
Yeah.
His positional sense, his speed, his strength, his power, It's on point throughout the game, except for maybe the penalty.
Yeah, like before, it's crazy because you think that both managers would attack because this game last year ended 4-3. There were goals galore. You were right.
Yeah.
You're right also in the sense that like last year we would not have lost. We would not have won this match or not even drawn this match. We would have straight out lost it without Van Dijk being there. We won last year, but that was purely based on luck. Even
Attack.
that was because our front three were on really hot form
Good
back
form
then.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and this season your hand does go to your defense, which has been really good. At least this game.
I think
So-
I read a stat that last year 8 games in we had let in 12 goals. This year 8 games in we've let in 3 goals. So you can see the difference that both not only Van Dijk but Alisson has also made. He made some crucial saves. I would like to think that he was also had some part to play in Riyad Mahrez skying the penalty, which is ridiculous.
Sure, but Mahrez has missed 8 of the 5 of the last 8 penalties.
Yeah.
Mahrez is just a shitty penalty taker. I don't know why they keep
so,
giving him the ball.
There was this whole thing with Jesus telling
picked up the ball,
and
and
telling
the bench told them no.
Yeah,
give
Guardiola
him Mahrez.
apparently told the press later on that he wasn't aware of Mahrez's penalty record. And
okay.
so that's why he said let Mahrez take it. But had he known, he would have let Jesus take it.
Stupid. Like, how do you not know this? You're a fucking manager.
Exactly.
Oh,
Right.
Guardiola prepares like crazy. He knows everything. He knows just the same way we had a coach saying Guardiola knows everything about the other team. You don't even know your own penalty record of your own team. Like,
Yeah. It was well. Thank God he said that. He saved us 3 points lost.
Yeah,
God.
that was not just 3 points lost, but also like this is just not as normal 3 points. Like it's between the top two. So.
Right. I think both managers were a little skeptical as well of going all out because anyone who had lost the game would have found it really difficult to claw back here because it's now like a 3-horse race for the title, right? Chelsea, Liverpool, and City are going at it. So, I mean, Chelsea still haven't played as many big teams because they've only played Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken.
Chelsea have played
And Liverpool. Yeah, we played them. And they won
1-1 draw.
the Arsenal one and drew against us. So so similar.
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
But also, I'd have to argue that like Chelsea is doing well because my thing is from my thoughts. I still think even though it's top 3, like just like I said last week too, it's between City and Liverpool. It's not a top 3; it's a top 2 in my opinion. I'm sticking with that because Liverpool and City have a team.
Yeah.
They have holes that they identified and they plugged it. With Chelsea, what I think is happening is you have a few star players overperforming. Not overperforming, performing to their potential.
One guy.
Right? Exactly. You have Hazard like destroying it. The Chelsea Liverpool game, the 1-1, the one goal from Chelsea was him. Completely him. So in this case, I think that if he loses form, if something happens, that the risks of Chelsea actually getting close to the finish are higher. So I still think it's a 2-horse race.
Possibly. I think in the long run it'll be interesting to see. 8 games
Exactly.
in, but
so the season's about consistency, right? So we'll see how and where it takes us.
Yep. So that's it for this game week. We now move on to the international break, the Nations League, which, well, for some of us it's a hindrance because they've just got form.
Exactly.
For some teams,
or I just had a comeback.
It's. I mean, you as a club football manager, you're biting your teeth throughout this week because you don't want any of your players injured. And
exactly. So good thing is at least Luke Shaw is back out, so he's not part of this.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it for now. That is the international game week and at least the Nations League year. So we don't have teams playing like El Salvador or some shit like that. We actually have like big teams playing each other. So maybe we'll have a few exciting games. Maybe we won't. Let's see how it goes. We're excited, and we'll catch you guys next time. That's it for now.
For game week 9, where we started with Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Woo! Let's see how that goes. I'm excited for that.
Cool.
Okay. So that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and we'll get back to you. So that's it for now. Take care. Bye bye.